Comics.fm. We're talking about rifters today. I have a bigger one than you, Josh.
Fair enough.
You-
You did call yourself Popcan while in our shenanigans, so I don't know if that counts or not.
Pop can, no. I would say, you know what I am, though? A Comics FM mug. That's the right girth you want to drink out of. So, with me in this episode of Comics.fm, by the way, JP Black here, this is Josh Aldis Snow. You went by two different names in your two different radio careers, Josh.
Yes, Aldis Snow, I didn't know, like, in radio, like, you don't get to pick your own radio name. The program director did, or maybe you didn't get to. It
No,
depends on the program director.
normally you do get to pick your name. You just
Oh,
you were well. Let's take it back a little bit. Okay, so Josh, you and I met at 95.9 The River.
correct.
Okay, you are now my second River alum on Comics FM, and there's going to be another one coming soon. So this is my first radio station I ever worked at. Your first radio station you ever worked at. You
Yep.
were you go to Columbia College. You want to be the next Quentin Tarantino, right?
Tarantino meet Kevin Smith, yes.
And Kevin Smith. Okay. So yeah, you want to basically be like us growing up with these iconic kind of new style directors. You're like, you know what? I can do that. I'm going to Columbia, where all the best go. You run into Anakin Skywalker at Columbia.
Jake
By the way,
Lloyd.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but it just kind of flowed out there. I think that
I knew I was expecting it. I was expecting it's my the I Heart Hucklebees one guy Jude Law's story of the chicken salad joke. Like that's what I gotta do.
I never
don't know
saw
if
that,
you've
but
seen
I'll
that
take
movie.
your word for
All
it.
right, so fly that over.
So no, it's my fault. All I know is it sounds like something where he has to say the same. Listen, you have an iconic story because you met the one to bring balance to the force.
Yes, I have. He wasn't bringing balance to the force at this time. This was after he brought the balance.
Maybe he
The
was though.
PTSD version.
Yeah, so you run into Jake Lloyd, who played the young Anakin Skywalker at Columbia
Yes.
College, and this was probably late 2000s, right?
Yeah, so I was at Columbia College 2005 to 2009. This had to have been '07 or '08.
Okay. So at this point, he's doing conventions, making a couple of bucks because he was an Anakin, not like the one that later became, but he was
Yeah.
Anakin. So he's going to do conventions, kind of like the Boba Fett as a kid from the episode 2, right?
Absolutely.
Daniel
As we all would.
Yeah, Daniel Logan. Why do I know that? Okay. And you run into him in one of your classes. And
Yeah, so he was in Columbia wanting to learn some behind the scenes stuff, I guess, on that. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you get to
No,
drink through
it's
your
your story. Go ahead,
girthy
yeah.
mug. So no, you want me to go? I knew this is why I was invited. Like you could have done a clip show, but you're like, let me get Josh Aldis instead. I'm the one guy up over a clip show, so I appreciate
hold
it.
on. We're going to talk about this awesome time travel book that is hilarious.
It
as
is
well.
awesome.
But it's part of your origin story. It's part of
Yeah.
sort of when I introduce you to people, it's part of your like bio at this point. It should be on your resume, honestly,
Yeah, you know what? I probably should add that on there in the not too
So you're sitting in
distant
class,
future.
you say, hey, you're Jake Lloyd, right?
Yeah, well, okay, it's a stadium seating theater size class. So this is why I never seen them before in this class. It was like aesthetics to film. It's like, like probably 50 people. I'm usually on time, kind of, sucking up on in the front of the class.
Sure,
So I'm
yeah.
running late. And then as I run late, I don't want this echo chamber of the doors, shutting while I'm late. Everyone turning their heads looking at me. So I quietly, pulled the door closed and I just found a seat or whatever. Racing to get my stuff. I look over and I saw Jake Lloyd, Anakin Skywalker. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Holy shit. I changed back. And I wish I could say I handled this well. Because at this time I'm 21, 22.
Yeah.
And I did not handle it well at all. And I wasn't trying to be an ass,
Right.
just so I could swear on your show, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's ass is like the easiest swear of all. I mean,
All right, I don't know.
I mean, you can say ass on the radio. I mean,
Well, I don't know what the .fm allows or not.
Sure, good point. Yeah, I don't want you to say or
Okay,
I'm
noted.
gonna bleep those.
Okay, guys, so who knows what you just said?
You know.
So anyway, So anyways, I looked at him again, and I just can't stop staring. And like he knows he got caught by me. He's like, oh,
Sure.
Jesus Christ. Like one of them finally got to me. Like I'm surprised it took this long for someone to get to him.
Well, because a typical Columbia student isn't a Star Wars nerd, typically, right?
Typically not, or they hide it because
or they grew out of it, maybe, you know.
Or they grew out of it, or they just don't want to be like that. They're like, oh, you dropped George Lucas's name. Oh my God. Like, okay.
Instead, they're like, actually, I found this Japanese film. Like, dude, get out of here. You know,
dude, that's every first day of class at Columbia. Name your favorite film, and it's like you never heard of it. You never heard of it.
It's a Kurosawa film. I had a film class in college too, and it's like,
there you go.
Give me the good shit. You know.
Exactly. So you got be low key and uber hipster sort of thing on this. So we had our first break 15 minutes ago, and I just like. I'm hurdling the rows towards him, and I go, and he's looking at me, and he knows what's coming, and I just, again, not cool about this. I'm like, you're the one. And he's just like, what? I'm like, you're the one. You're Anakin Skywalker. He's like, Jake Lloyd. I was just like, yeah, Anakin. Well, I'm not even addressing his name or anything like that. He's like, yeah, just keep it down. I'm like, yeah, no, all cool and all that stuff. Yep. And then right away, I'm asking him questions like, how hot was it on Tatooine? He's like, it's a set, man. I don't know. But he's super annoyed and everything like that. So I want to tell the story a little bit quick for you because I know we got shit to do and all that stuff. So I'll get to the good part. So eventually he changed subjects on me and he asks if I'm cool. And keep this in mind. This is 07, 08. So you use lingo like that, kids.
Use lingo just to, put it out. You use lingo like that to indicate, do you get high, right?
Correct. Okay. Yes, correct. I don't know your demographic on this show. I watch it.
I have 7 listeners, and two of them are here, so it's just 28%. I'm a nerd like that, whatever.
Okay, all right. So if someone stumbles on, we know what we're talking about then. I'm kidding, Ben. I love you. Yeah. So he asked if I was cool, and I was like, I don't know. Do you think I'm cool? Because if Anakin Skywalker thinks I'm cool, Jake Lloyd. Right. If Jake Lloyd thinks I'm cool, I'm cool, man. And he's just like, no, like, do you smoke weed? I was like, oh, obviously I didn't. The only one in film school that didn't at the time, I guess. And I was just like,
hipster of you to not smoke weed in film school.
You would think, yeah. He's like, yeah, never mind, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, well, say if I am cool, like what would be the next thing you would say? He's like, well, you're not cool. I was like, ouch, Anakin, Jake Lloyd. That hurts. It's just like, I'm like, look, I'd be interested still. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it would be really cool to say I bought weed from Anakin Skywalker, Jake Lloyd.
That's where it all goes wrong,
Yeah, and he was just like, I don't want you advertising that, obviously. I'm like, oh, this would be like, years down the road, what's that joint on my coffee table?
Sure.
I mean, here's this cool story.
Yeah, if I'm ever on a comics.fm show in, say, 18 years from now, I might bring it up. But like that's
I would have it on my ear in like a plastic bag, well preserved, everything like that. Jake Lloyd gave this to me, like from the freezer, like old ground beef you would do.
Right. We know we know how many midichlorians are inside the weed as well.
Exactly. So he was just like, nah, forget about it, drop it. I was like, fuck, I messed this up. So I didn't leave him alone. He's still there, and I'm still kind of thinking like, I really want this weed now. There's an ATM down there. I could see what I could do. So I go, to bring it back up, I just lean into him. I'm like, do you call it Star Wars names? And he's like, what do you mean? I was just like, your weed, do you give it like Star Wars lingo?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't follow. I'm like, well, okay, say like you have bad stuff. Do you call it bantha fodder?
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Yeah, right. And your good stuff would be like, I don't know, like Alderaan Green, because in your time in Star Wars, Alderaan blew up, but you don't know it yet, but it's coming because you're the prequels, but you weren't born during that time. Like, I went off on a tangent, but that's rarity, so that would be the good stuff. And he was just not having it. He's like, why the f*** would I ever call it that? And I was like, because you're Anakin Skywalker. He's like, Jake Lloyd. I'm like, right. So before this all ends, he's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I'm excited because before he even finishes it, I'm like, he's going to invite me to the bathroom. And I'll do anything.
This is the move. I get to hang out with Anakin Skywalker in a bathroom. Hey, it's college. It's experimenting. This is the time.
I fucked up the joint.
You're gonna buy weed from him for the first time. It's
I messed that up.
Yeah, you're already waiting to tell your dad about this new relationship. I get it, you know.
Fine. Yeah. What's the next thing I could smoke at this point? So like, I was ready for the invite. So instead of going that route, he goes, "When I get back, I'm gonna sit over there, and I don't want you to be near me."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh,
that's the kiss
okay."
of death right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So he went to the bathroom, and he never came back, and he never came back to that class again. So,
wow.
So there's the Anakin Skywalker.
Do you think he sensed the Force in you? Like he thought it'd probably be a bad idea to tangle with you?
No, I think he severed himself off from the Force. I think I was not the first person to act that way towards him. From articles I have read lately, but since then.
He had some rough patches. I wonder if
he
ever directed anything, and if you causing him to not, what is it, aesthetics of film? Was that what it was?
Yeah, aesthetics of film.
So maybe you caused him to leave that class, which caused him to not become a famous director.
I couldn't tell you. I haven't looked on IMDb. Yeah.
Look it up. So anyway, that's your key story. It's gotten you very far in life, obviously.
There we go. Yes.
And you and I, you and
ouch.
No, I know. What are you talking about? Do you know how many times just people I know you've told that story to? At least 11. I'm just saying, and then tack 10 more on of your own. You're at 21 times telling the story. And I'll tell you, it gets better every time. You add a little thing every time. I love that,
You got to keep it. I just figured you're deflecting that we met, because you got me in the Blood Bowl, and I have nothing but disdain from you because of Blood Bowl.
Yeah. So then you go to Columbia to be a famous director. I'm just going to guess it didn't pan out, right?
No, and it was to be a writer.
Oh, to be a writer. Okay. So I'm wearing a shirt for you, by the way. So I've got a Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back style shirt. So you were not a writer or director on Star Wars. You were not a Kevin Smith. You didn't work for SMOD or what is it? A View Askew. You didn't work for any of that.
Right.
You were not Tarantino's toe guy. Like, he wants someone to give him the best feet, find good feet.
Yeah.
So you didn't have, you weren't selected to be, say, an intern for a big Hollywood place. However, you were selected for an internship nonetheless. And where was that at?
That was at 95.9 The River.
Okay.
Or 95.5. What was it?
No, 95.9. You had it right.
Okay.
Yeah, WERV out of Aurora, Illinois, Wayne's World. And that was also my first radio job. And so we're at an event together. You're an intern. I think at this time, I was fired from my full-time job, working for one Kevin Trudeau, infomercial guy. And I needed some extra hours because I was just trying to find something else in the meantime. So I start doing more events. And again, this is a radio-based podcast. People that have been in the industry know that it ain't always like climbing. Sometimes it's like, whoop, whoop. And sometimes you go, whoop, all the way down. And then you kind of climb back up. That happens all the time. So for me, it was, I had a full-time job in radio, then I don't have any job in radio. So do you want to work a chocolate fest at the local high school in Naperville? Like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to work chocolate fest at Neuqua Valley High School. I'll do that. Or whatever, when we were at, something like that. And so
I think we were at a grocery store or something like that.
We were probably at, was it like Prisco's Fine Foods or something like that?
Yeah, it was not one that I was ever familiar with.
No, it was and it was probably one of those things where they were giving away stuff for Christmas, charity, something or other.
Yeah.
And we were handing out bags and that kind of thing. So anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. So we meet, we're hanging out, and you see on my phone an image. Do you remember this?
I do. And I was ready to think about that. I was like, why was I looking at your phone? Was I being sneaky? Was I being obtrusive with your privacy? I have no excuse why I looked at your phone.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, no, everyone looks at it once. That's okay. Hey, that's why you have a home screen and it's locked. You're not seeing messages.
True.
It's not like you didn't see the text from one Danielle Tefano that says, "Did you meet the new idiot?" You didn't see that text. You know what I mean? Because that would have crushed you if you saw her texting me saying, "Did I meet the new idiot yet?" And I would say, if by idiot you mean Josh Aldis, no, I did not meet that idiot. I met, I would try to cover it for you, obviously. No, but
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. You saw on my screen, it was actually a space wolf from Warhammer 40,000. And you said, "Is that World of Warcraft?" And I was like, "You nerd. No, it's not World of Warcraft. It's something way geekier. It's little toy men's on top of a table. And you
Yep.
started to inquire. Now, I wonder, was it this guy's trying to get a job, so let's be nice to this guy and all that. So that's fine, whatever. You know what I mean? That was I the Anakin in this story? Should I have went to the bathroom and never came back? I don't know. I could have. You would
You
have
had plenty of chances.
yeah, you would have had to load up the river van on your own afterwards. So you and I start talking, and then I invite you to play some games, and we start hanging out, that kind of thing. And you play some.
But you held a bargaining chip for it though too. I don't know if we can say this because of the promotions closet, but I was really into that show, The League, and I saw it on our promo closet. I'm like, that'd be cool to have it. And you were like, you texted me one day, he's like, hey, meet us at the bunker, and if you play this game, I got a copy of The League for you.
I did not say that at all. That never happened. Now, what might have happened? You might have said, I have some non-family members, acquaintances that might want to join us at an event, and they might play a game and randomly win a prize called a league, to which you have to sign for because they won the game. They had to leave early. They couldn't be there. You said, I'll just take it and I'll give the DVD to them. And I said, okay, that's fine. So that's probably what happened.
You might be right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just don't want you to have to reach, because listen, if I get in trouble, then I'm gonna throw you into the bus, and you're gonna dig up that DVD. I guarantee you don't have that DVD right now. Right?
I do.
No way.
It's in a storage unit in Plainfield, Illinois, with all the Mantic crap and Blood Bowl crap.
All right, that's fine. Ronnie's not listening. Neither is Jervis. But anyway, nobody knows who those people are. Nobody cares. More importantly, so then this is super long. I knew this was going to happen, by the way.
I know. You got a lot I didn't even do. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's all good. This is what the show's supposed to be. Right now, it's pacing like the longest one so far. It's pacing that way, which is cool.
That's what she said.
Yeah, it's pacing that way. At that point, Josh, I ended up getting a full-time job, still with Next Media, who owned the river, but in Crystal Lake, Illinois, to be like an interactive sales guy, video, all that kind of stuff. And we still hung out, but did you stay on at the river after that for a while doing stuff?
Yeah, for a little while, and then I had to move around 2000. I don't remember, but I moved to Bourbonnais for a bit, and I wasn't with the river.
Did you get, like, I know you were at one time, you were mostly promotions. Did you ever get to do on air at the river or no?
No, never did on air. I was the guy that cut spots.
Oh, so you were production?
Yeah, that they sold, this is a cool deal. And it's like, yeah.
Did you do video there too or no?
No, I didn't do video until Crystal Lake.
Okay, so then we get to Crystal Lake, and that is also where Jason is from the movies, Camp Crystal Lake. So Crystal Lake, Illinois, was the home of 103.9 The Fox, but not initially. So Star 105.5, which is still there, WZSR, and Y103.9 was there, which was like oldies, WWYW. Why do I know all these? Rivers, WRV. You start to know all these after a while. You can't get them out of your head. And so I started working there, and eventually I started helping out with some on-air stuff, some producer work, did some videos for Y1039. I started doing a little bit on the air on Star, even though it's not my kind of music, but I wanted to do some on-air. And I heard a rumor, that's how things start, Ryan Weil tells two friends and so on and so forth. Although I will say this, Ryan, who I'm going to have on the show one day.
Nice.
Ryan told, he doesn't know it yet, so it's not like, he might say no, so it's not nice then. He might say no.
Oh.
I don't think he would say no.
I don't think he would.
Ryan's too positive a guy to say no to this kind of stuff.
100%.
So Ryan says, hey, JP, only you and Jack Taddeo, who will be on this show too.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack's going to be on. He bought a t-shirt, by the way. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'll plug this. I don't care. It's already going long. We lost our viewers anyway, but Jack bought one of these. You can get this at comics.fm. Literally comics.fm. People don't know it. They think it's just a name. You could type that in. That's the actual website. Comics.fm. And you can buy a shirt. You can buy a mug. You can buy a sticker, all of that. So anyway, Jack knows because he's the general manager. Ryan knows he's the promotion or the program director. And he tells me because I'm going to do afternoons and that we have to keep it a secret. Can't talk about it at all. So it's really hard. When you flip a station to a brand new format, it wasn't a huge flip. It went from oldies to classic rock, but it's still like a branding flip. So it was a big deal. At that time, I look back, I found an old email I sent you the other day. I was trying to get you in pre-Fox launch. this is coming. Let's get this guy in. And of course, Ryan's like, well, what does he bring to the table besides allegedly meeting Anakin Skywalker? I mentioned that, you were in a band, so you've got some of that audio, audio production kind of side. It can help with video, because I knew all your work with video, all of that. So we were trying to get you in. It was very hard though. When you launch a brand new station, I mean, part of and I'm a realist. I don't bullshit myself. I live in the real world. I know part of how I got the afternoon gig was not because I'm the best choice for afternoons. There's plenty of people that were Chicago radio legends that could have done that job, or people locally. I know I got the job because I'm okay and I already work there. So it's, you want a little extra? Yeah, a little extra, because and why would I say no, right? The other thing was, at the same time, I believe the company was scaling back their digital division. So I was supposed to get like bonuses if they sell a certain amount of digital, and that wasn't happening. So I was like, you know what? Perfect timing. I'm going to be making less from this other part of the job. Let's add this on. So I knew for me, it was a dream come true to be able to be on afternoon full-time instead of being just a weekend guy. So I'm like, okay, eventually we're going to get you in. I believe, did me, you, and Ryan have like a Portillo's meeting?
Yeah, I couldn't be anywhere near the station because it wasn't flipped yet. So we had to meet off-wise, off-site.
Yeah, like it's funny that like in this is like, like a mobster meetup, except it's Portillo's, and we're like, this is Josh. Like, let's see how if he gets his beef dipped or not, because we got to see what kind of a man we're dealing with here. You know what I mean?
Dude, and that came across my mind. I'm like, what do I order? Am I going to be talking a lot? I got to sell myself. Are they going to be like? Still to this day, I never had an Italian beef from Portillo's. So.
Oh, what do you mean since then?
No, I didn't have one then either. I had hot dogs that day.
You've never eaten Italian beef?
Never eaten Italian beef from Portillo's. Bona, but not Portillo's.
Are you serious?
Dude, I'm serious. I know. They're all going to come after me. 3 people are going to come after me.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, there's 7, and so the 2 of them are on.
Sorry.
2 of them don't care. 3 will come after you. So you already.
That's more than enough.
A guy who's been in the Chicago area for 40 years.
Yeah.
What do you have to be proud of that? 40?
I had to think about it. I was like, Chicagoland. I'm like, holy shit, I never left Chicagoland.
So you lived on Earth for 40 years and Chicagoland for 40 years, both.
Yeah.
And you've never had an Italian beef?
No, not from Portillo's.
Oh, from Portillo's. Got it.
Yes, I had it from Bona, which I know doesn't care, but I also had it from beef stands like Tony's on Pulaski.
Sure. And by the way, I'm not, things have changed over time. Portillo's beef isn't what it was. I get all that. I like Bona better anyway. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to put it on a pedestal. I'm trying to say that just by being around it's for so long, it's got to happen, right?
Speaking of long, I know the show is, because now we switched to Italian.
Well, here's the thing. Stop swearing. But anyway.
I'm sorry.
Stop. Listen, it doesn't matter. It's a fun show. That's all. Point being that we had this meeting. We wanted to get you in. And we ended up getting a job on the Fox. What was your initial job on the Fox?
It was promotions assistant. And then I get 10 extra hours for video editing.
Yeah. So video editing, promotions, and then eventually the talk about a local band show comes up. Right?
Yes.
Were you excited about that?
I was. First, Ryan Wild, who will be your future guest.
I hope so.
He first started it and took me on as a producer. And I knew that was a big step. You reminded me that was a big step. Like, you're going to learn a lot. And when Ryan's sick or when Ryan's on vacation, who's going to handle it? You. So I was really excited about it. I believe in local music. I hate, going to a festival and listening to 17 Journey covers.
Sure.
And just being a local music guy, I was like, this is great. I love that we're doing this for the Fox. Sunday nights when no one's listening and Game of Thrones is on, I don't care.
So I'll tell you what, do you remember, I'm pretty sure I taught you this, but Jack would have taught it to me, and I've used this forever since then, but why does it not matter that a show like that's on Sunday night? Do you remember what I said about this or no?
Yeah, we had it podcasted as well. So it's It's going to live forever. It probably still does somewhere. I know
the videos are out there.
YouTube videos are out there.
So it's the podcast, but also all the promos on the radio that are airing all the time. So here's the way you think about it. And this is just kind of like a radio, I don't know. I don't want to call it inside radio, but like radio lesson is when you have special features. like stuff on the weekends. We got Alice Cooper doing a show. We're doing a local band show. We're doing, ska punk Thursdays at midnight, whatever.
Hell
It's like,
yeah.
none of that really matters when it's on, because you get the cool points for talking about it when people are listening. So,
Yes.
and at 9 or 8 in the morning, people are driving to work and they hear Aldis has I Scintilla on the Garage this Sunday night. Oh my God, really cool. We do a local band show. You ever heard it? Nah, I'm usually at home watching Game of Thrones. Doesn't matter. Cool points. Achievement unlocked. Because
No, for sure.
all that matters is that we did it. And that's the same thing, station I was working at recently, they had a vinyl show on Saturday nights. It doesn't matter if people are listening. It matters that people know we do it. Because if they get sent a ratings diary or a meter to wear, they have to know we're doing cool stuff that makes them feel more engaged. So you doing that, I wanted you to always remember how important that was. We talked about this on the James Van Osdale episode about why it's important to own something. And James wanted to move away from being the local guy, and someone convinced him to say, no, this is your thing. You had a similar sort of thought of, listen, I want like a regular show, right? You did like a weekend show for a while, and me and Ryan and even Jack were like telling you, like, actually the local band thing is a bigger deal, and it's hard to see it because you know what goes into it. And you're like, well, it's Sunday night. And like, no. That's a feature. Like, that's a thing. Everything else, this is going to sound insulting to some people, but everything else is just a shift on the radio, right? I don't really have a show. I don't have a show. Even right now at KKF, I don't have a show. I have an air shift. Why? There's nothing I do differently than the guy that comes after me. We both play the same Led Zeppelin song. We both talk about the same kind of stuff. Local, lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. We might have a couple of giveaways, but essentially it's a shift around the music. A morning show is a show. When you have bits and guests and all these things. You had a show because you were the producer. And then at what point did you turn into the host?
When Ryan left for Omaha. I forgot what radio station that was, but he said, here you go. You are ready for this. I got Jack's backing on it, and that was awesome. I got a little bump for, because it takes extra work. So
it was a lot of work, actually.
It was a lot of work, more than the bump, but whatever. I was excited at the time. You don't think of that in radio. So it's a cool thing. And then I had a good in with the bands because even while Ryan was the host and I was just a producer, I was going to the band shows.
You were the one going, yep.
Yeah, and nothing against Ryan. Ryan has kids. Ryan has a wife. Ryan has a house to take care of. I'm Josh, single guy from Plainfield, going to and from Crystal Lake all the time.
You got a chance
I'll go to a show.
Yeah, you got a chance to go see, I can't think of any of the names right now, but, some of these bands, you're going to see, not Evanescence. It was something that sounded like that.
Ignescent, Posehn.
That was the one.
There's.
Yeah.
And they all had female singers, too, that were very talented.
Well, clearly, to your benefit, you try to hit on all of them, which that's what you're supposed to do.
All right.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're like, you're scheduled to have only one song on the Garage this week. We can make it 2. They're like, how do you make it 2?
That's not at all how that goes. Complete gentlemen. Even to the interns, don't start this bullshit, JP.
No, and then she said, are you cool? And you're like, yeah. And she's like, no, you're not.
No, I'm not.
So the reason why we talk for 30 minutes about, they'll do that. Well, I do the claps. The reason why we talk for 30 minutes is because you and I time traveled. You and I just took a trip back just now. And
we absolutely did.
And that's the segue into Rifters here. So
perfect.
This comic book, it's pretty great. I got it. I did a little short video when I first got it in a mystery pack. A lot of times I go to a store and I'll buy it's like $5 and they give you like 10 comics. And if I find 1 or 2 that seem cool in there that I look at, it's a win. If I find one, that's a win. And this one was in there and it was the first issue, the one that you have right now. And I saw that it was written by Brian Posehn, who is a hilarious comedian. He's been on Mr. Show. He's one of those guys where if you look him up and you're like, oh, I know that guy. He's from everything, Okay. And Joe Trohman. So 2 of them writing partners. And I'm like, this is going to be funny. I knew it was going to be funny right off the bat. And basically the story of Rifters is pretty simple concept. You've heard time travel stories before. Okay. It's a trope that has been in movies, TV, comics, everything before. Back to the Future, the most well-known one. What does Biff do in Back to the Future 2 that makes him a jerk, Josh?
Right. Yeah, he goes back in time with the sports almanac and bets on everything that is won.
So he takes advantage. We have time travel. How cool. Let's go back in time and use it to our advantage. So
Yeah.
the Rifters are basically time cops. Their job is to stop people from going back in time, either just to mess stuff up, like drawing a penis on Abe Lincoln's forehead, which they did.
Something I think you would do.
Well, yeah.
Not on Abe Lincoln, but on a dry erase board he might have owned.
I wouldn't roofie Abe Lincoln like they did.
He was roofied.
I would try to best him in like a bout. He would win, but eventually I would wear him down. If I get access to a time machine, why would I not? So in this book, these people have this technology. So there is a guy here, a very Mark Zuckerberg type guy here.
Exactly. Yep.
Show this. There he is. He's like, hey, I'm Simon. Simon says we all get time travel. And that's kind of what happens. So instead of Apple, they have Pear. Instead of Sony, they have like, Sorny. Sunny.
Yeah. Two N's.
Yeah. So the idea is, what would we do if we can go back in time? Would we go back to a real Jurassic Park? Well, how do you think that's going to end? T-Rex is going to bite your head off. That's what's going to happen.
Even the modern ones in fiction, they don't work out.
That's right. So yeah, the basis of this is if we're in like the 2060s, I believe is kind of the time frame. It jumps back around and it tells you where it's at, thankfully. Side note, pet peeve for me, whenever books jump around in time and they don't tell you what time they're in, I get that I'm supposed to know and use the context, but why should I have to? Just put the freaking date there. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I want to know. So it's going to tell you what date they're in right now. They go back because people are using this and abusing it right now. So essentially, if people are messing up the continuum, you got to have cops go and fix everything. And that's kind of why I chose this book for you, Josh. You've got a hit shirt on right now. You wrote a web series about, not buddy cop, but buddy hitmen. And to me, this kind of fell in the same style. Jules and Vincent, Pulp Fiction. I mean, did you get a feeling about like why I picked this one for you? It was kind of like that style.
Yeah, definitely. It had that kind of style, but also I love the story. I love the premise. Even the opening wasn't any dialogue. And you know me, I love dialogue, being a Tarantino film, as you said. But it reminded me, like, it opened up almost as like the classic cop noir kind of thing, like a Sin City thing where they explained everything going on. And it's so cynical and so anti-human because we have the tendency to mess things up.
Right.
And
Yeah, so you're great. Exactly. So, not to give too much away, but like, we got JFK here. And I don't know if,
that came out of nowhere when I flipped the page.
Yeah, so it's a little vulgar there. That's all right. It's not for the kids.
No, not against that, but because it was leaning towards like more on, and I'm not trying to get this into your show, but like it was reading very liberal for a second. And then now we're putting one of the most, famed Democrats presidents ever and making him into like trans all of a sudden, and you're like, holy crap, what just happened here? And I loved it. I mean, I loved where it took you.
We got a lot of stuff going on, historical
game
moments
hunting.
here. Yeah. So anyway, that's what's great about this book. And so the storyline, and I actually just picked up this trade from my local store, and it just came out. They just came out. So by the way, it's 6 issues. I was a little bummed to hear it's not an ongoing series forever. So you've got the first issue. There's 5 more, and those came out earlier this year. I think last year started. So they just came out with the trade recently. Check it out because it's got the whole story there. I haven't read the rest of it yet because I wanted to kind of make sure we're on the same page.
Gotcha.
Literally.
No,
with this.
I'm very curious with it because how it opened was like, here's the universe, and then the first case. You stop middle of the first case.
Yeah, the 2 cops basically go back to the 1920s, bootleggers, and they're like, hey, let me get that. It's like, hey, it's only $20. Like, here's 100. The guy's like, oh my God. But he's saying, like, I'm going to get me one of those Chinese wives or something like that.
Yeah, all the Chinese wives.
All the Chinese wives.
And then one of the great dialogues I found out after that, he's like, hey, we got a whole case of bourbon for like that would cost us a half tank of gas.
Oh, right.
And it was $100.
Yeah,
by 2068.
Yeah, 2068 gas is $200. Yeah. It's everything we have now with all the technology invading our lives. And to your point, Josh, what do humans do? And in this case, what do Americans do? We just screw shit up. That's kind of what we do with a lot of things. What would we do if you had on your phone the capability to go back in time? It probably would be used for things that aren't great. So that's where the whole story comes from. Overall, you liked it then, I take it, correct?
Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. So Brian Posehn, Joe Trohman, artist Chris Johnson, colorist Mark Englert, letterer Joe Sabino. Get this one. It is from Image, and they've got so many great titles as of late coming out there. Rifters, if you like any of that sort of R-rated comedy that is just pushes boundaries, but also makes you laugh about current things
Yeah.
going on in the world.
Absolutely current stuff going on. Like that, like you said, the Zuckerberg, he was like Zuckerberg meets Jobs meets Elon Musk kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
very much so. I mean, this is just great. It's, of course, Hitler makes an appearance. Oh, fat dead Elvis makes an appearance. I mean, it's great. So everybody on there. I wish I could go back time. What if you could go back in time, Josh? What would you do? It could be something big or something trivial.
Like not go to Columbia.
Oh, not meet Anakin?
No.
But then I wouldn't have met you.
Something trivial. I don't know, man. Like I like some of the stuff that they said, like meeting, like seeing like certain things getting built. Like I love like history. Like it sounds weird, but like I wouldn't mind witnessing wars, not like messing them up or anything like that.
Trying to stay out of it because you want to be a fly on the wall without ruining something.
Yeah. I guess it would be like medieval, like Viking times or something like that. Maybe see like if there was a real King Arthur and what he'd be like or something.
I think it would be cool. Like I've always heard in a previous episode, I talked to Ryan Kaufman about the book Department of Truth. Great comic, by the way. A lot of awesome conspiracy talk in there. And, later on in the book, they talk about like, I forget the actual time, but maybe like 600 AD, where they just basically lost like 300 years. Like imagine one day, like back in the day going, hey, remember how I told you it's year 600? No, it's year 900. Tell everybody it's 900. It ain't 600. Like, what happened those 300 years? We don't talk. There's nothing happened. I also wouldn't mind going back to when I'm a big fan of these Mike and Ike sours.
Okay.
Remember Sours, the candy?
Sours were awesome. I worked at Blockbuster. That's a video store for the people that don't remember. They remember. There are them. I would always eat the Sours. The Sours are the best.
Are the best. They went away. Yeah. And then Mike and Ike sours are okay. They're not sours.
They're not sours.
And they never will be. They're close. They are the closest thing we have to sours for the ASMR folks out there. They're the closest thing we have to sours, but they're not sours. So, yeah. Rifters, check out this book. It is amazing. Do you have a favorite panel or scene in there?
I cracked up at the panel when they said, like, someone didn't even make Star Wars, and it was like George Lucas made American Graffiti 17.
Right, yeah.
And then a guy with Star Wars tattoos, he's like, my baby Grover tattoo doesn't mean anything.
I love that it wasn't even a Darth Vader or Luke tattoo. It was already like, no, it's a Grogu tattoo that he's mad that is now nullified, Well, yeah, I love that one. My favorite one, it's pretty obvious, but Abe Lincoln, like I mentioned earlier. I mean, how do me with my history, with my origin story, how do I not pick that one? Rifters, great comic. Definitely check it out. Josh, it's not a superhero book, but we do cover some of those because it is comics.fm. If you were a superhero, if you were Super Josh or whatever you wanted to be, what would be your thing? What's your name? What's your power? If there's a movie, who's playing you? Give me all that.
All right. Superpower would be, I'm into the teleportation thing. Okay. I can't fight, but I'm lazy. So I would teleport, like I would abuse the hell out of this. Like I would take it to the mailbox right away or something like that. I would still abide by the rules. Like you could only teleport to where you see or where you've been sort of thing. So I would abide to those rules. But other than that, like since I'm not a fighter, I could like run away sort of thing. I'm guessing.
So
like,
this is a lot like the episode I had with Ryan Kaufman about Department of Truth. He picked flights, but he couldn't fight either. So he's like, I could warn you of a battle, but or carry somebody. So you're saying you want to teleport to places you've been, places you can see, but you will be a pacifist teleporter though.
I mean, if I learn some stuff, I could do like a Nightcrawler thing, but like I played Blood Bowl and I still have that physique, so I'm not doing that anytime soon.
But I mean, you can pretend that you can
fight now. Pretend. I could once I get teleporting, I could like work on the core and all that stuff for sure. So I could still end up fighting and use agility and go all Nightcrawler on people. The Porter.
The Porter.
The Porter.
The Porter. Yeah. So the Porter would be the name, and you can teleport. And what you do during said teleporting, we don't know. And like you said, it might be you going to the mailbox or whatever, you being lazy.
Yeah.
Who's playing the Porter in the Hollywood film?
So, like, I've been compared to a few actors. The best top one I've been compared to in my heyday would have been Chris Pine.
Mm.
I think that's because of the eyes, though.
So Chris Pine plays you in The Porter.
In a good way. Otherwise, it would be like that one guy with the glasses that's like in the Progressive commercials when they're like, "What is this?" He's like, "Scotch egg." That guy. I
Okay.
also been compared to.
You mean Jamie from Progressive? That's not
No,
you.
no. When it was like when they're like to avoid having your kids be like your parents' stuff, and there's a guy with a
Oh,
beard and
oh,
glasses. That's in like a lot of them.
oh yeah. When it's like it's too quiet, he has to keep the say something to fill the gap in silence. The dad stuff.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that
yeah.
stuff. Sorry.
So
So
yeah,
I've
so
been
you
compared to him as well. So
yeah.
that's
I don't.
probably him.
I mean, let's go Chris Pine.
Fine.
Maybe
Thank you.
on his well. Hold on, don't thank me yet. Chris Pine on his like downward, not spiral, but like the downward. He's like this Mickey Rourke era, like the little
Oh,
later
that's fine.
Mickey Rourke wrestler era. He's like, okay, it's a comeback. Chris Pine is back, everybody, with this new movie called The Porter. Early reviews are coming off pretty horrible. However, he's really proud of it. He said he was doing the writer a favor.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it comes from. I like that. Josh, you have done so many things. If you're giving advice to somebody, if you're saying, hey,
Mm,
you're watching this, okay, you're looking at a guy like me, Josh Aldis Snow, and you're thinking, man, how do I pull off a career and a life like this dude? Would you say, here's what you got to do? You got to boom, 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 boom. Or you say, you know what? Don't even bother. Go learn how to be a plumber and don't get involved with media, the arts and video and radio, all this other stuff. So would you have advice for somebody or would your advice be stay away?
No, it wouldn't be stay away. I know I'm very cynical about it now, but I'm very grateful for what happened there. Like I met great people, like you said, Jack, Ryan, you, people from the river, like Danielle, you mentioned,
Yeah.
Katie Waldron, who now is kicking ass down
Yeah.
here as well.
She's more famous than everybody. That's how it always is, by the way. It's the side characters become the main characters if you give them enough time.
Yeah. So, but what I would recommend is if you're gonna go like hardcore, balls to the wall on it, you gotta be patient. You're not gonna rise right away, and you gotta play the game. You also should have the means to be available, not just hourly, but geographically. Um, so like family, maybe put on the back burner, or if you have a family that works like remotely or something like that, and you don't mind moving your kids around, that's something you should really consider. Also, just have a good family support because you're not making a lot of money. I remember my first full-time job in radio was 23,000 a year.
Yeah.
But you make more with remotes and things like that, so you could elevate that to 35 or something like that.
But at the time though,
you get cool shirts.
you get shirts. But part of it is also you're doing something you love, and
Yes.
listeners of the radio think, man, you have the coolest job ever. And there's part of it. There's a little bit of the behind the curtain that you don't want to give up. You don't want to
Right.
tell them, hey man, it actually sucks, because that just it's almost like it ruins everything. What little clout or power we have in these kind of like broadcast roles, you don't want to ruin that for somebody else. You want someone to think we have the coolest job ever. Man, you get to go see all these bands. You can go backstage. You can just talk to them, do whatever. You can hit a button and talk on the radio to 100,000 people. And then it's be like, yeah, I get to do all that. It doesn't matter that it was 23,000 a year.
Right.
I'm eating ramen noodles every night. It doesn't
For
really
sure.
matter at that point, right?
Yeah, there's great parts. One of the best summers of my life was working as a promotions coordinator for the Fox, and we did everything. We had our own beer.
Yeah.
This was unfortunately post you, but nonetheless, yeah.
I would say that's awesome. I mean, I wanted to be a part of it, but you did so much more there after Ryan and I were gone. Like I watched all the pictures,
And that's not an indictment. If anything, that's great because you guys like worked so hard to build a great foundation that Alex Quigley became the production
program director.
program director. Thank you.
Yeah.
And he was able just to carry that and take it to the next level. He was able to bring in great talent as well. Like you were a great talent too. You're selling yourself short, but he brought in Eddie Volkman. He brought in Brian Sherman. He brought in Pat Capone.
Yeah. And Jim Lynam was there, and
yes, Sky Point to Jim Lynam, unfortunately.
So I remember when I left and I started to hear about all this, I came back I was doing weekends for a while, and I started talking to Jim. We talked about wrestling, and I didn't get to know him super well, unfortunately, before he passed, but I'm thinking like, okay, so that happened. And I remember helping to kind of bridge the gap to get Sherman in, even well before that. And then obviously at that point I was gone, but then I remember Eddie Volkman and Capone. I'm thinking, okay, so I definitely was the opening act, and I'm totally okay with that in the history books of the Fox.
Yeah.
That I was on day one. I helped to launch it, but the idea that Chicago market number 3 talents, like those guys, not me, those guys came to that station, I was like thrilled. I thought it was the coolest thing ever to have a little station out in the cornfields, have all these top level people there. And unfortunately, corporate radio is what it is, and it was sold and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't, but I loved it. And watching you basically be the go-to guy for all of the, kind of the glue to everything, I thought that was awesome, because I'm thinking, okay, I mean, again, it was very unfortunate because it felt like right when you were hitting your stride to take ownership of so many things, the station was gone at that point. But
yeah, and by then I kind of stopped wanting to play the game as well. But it was great. I got like I said, I met a lot of great people. There's a lot of people I would love to think of as well. Like Tina Bree taught me everything there is to know about promotions. And it's not just radio, it's marketing. I wouldn't be into digital marketing without a degree in it or anything like that if it wasn't for Tina and learning from her and you and things like that. Like,
she's
you
the
could
best.
take a lot out of it.
Tina is the best promotion director that exists. I mean, it's
and great on air too.
Yeah. So that, I mean, awesome to see. I love all that. I know that's, good advice too, because whether you're doing something in broadcast or you want to do your own thing, podcast, YouTube, web series, for example, whatever you want to do, really good points. Be patient. That's key. And have the support system in place. That's that's a big one.
Be ready. Be ready for anything. Be available for anything. Because it's going to lead to something. You just got to have the patience as well. And at one point, I was sick of being the good soldier and not getting what I thought was mine.
We've all been there.
And it happens.
I was there too. In any creative field, it's like getting like you do Golden Gloves, judging and video. Like if you're boxing, eventually it takes its toll. The first body shot's not going to put me down, but over time, it's going to wear you the F down. And eventually it's like, you know what? Time to move on. Is there something I did? No, there's nothing that happened today that made me want to leave. I've took enough shots to the body, a couple to the head. I think I got to, go to the next match over here. And that happens in all of these creative broadcast careers,
And it doesn't mean you quit the industry or anything. It's still media.
Right.
And we call them personalities for a reason. You're in radio for whether you're in promotions or not, you stayed long enough because of your personality.
Correct.
That could be a detriment. That could be a great thing. That could be depends on the day sort of thing as well.
You're right. Good point. Personalities are everywhere. I would tell promotions people, even at my last job, you are the face of the station. Look, no, I'm not on the air. The on the air guy is not going to Ripfest or whatever. He's not going. You are there. So your chance to be like, if you're at Disney World, don't take that Mickey Mouse head off. You are Mickey Mouse forever. I don't know where you could take it off that, but anywhere around here. Same kind of thing in radio. You are the face of the station. You are the personality. And it's like I said, it's never a knock on any person. It's more of at a certain point, you just take your lumps. And you have to either, some people roll with it forever. Some people say, time to move on. And that's usually more common. But being patient, having those opportunities, taking advantage of opportunities. You didn't say no to anything, really. I mean, you didn't
because I was in a position not to. I didn't have anything going on. I was free. I made I'm not going to drive home because I was traveling from Plainfield to Crystal Lake early on. I was like, no, I'll stay here as long as I can.
Because then you have that moment of, I want to say yes to everything and be available and be a team player, but I think I'm getting taken advantage of. And so that happens all the time. Like I remember one time we had a big, I don't know, it was a party or something, and we sent you to get all the food. And you went and got all this food, and then it spilled all over your brand new car in the back seat. And I remember I felt so bad for you. And you're like, whatever. And I'm like, whatever, dude, you got to punch a wall. So you punch me, do something. And you were like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I was like, look at this guy. I'm like, it's going to hit him later. I know it. But
No, it did, because it happened again, and I posted it on social media, and then and my social media picture, my social media picture is me wearing the Fox shirt. So, and then of course I tagged the business, and that didn't lead to good thing. But it was a good lesson to learn, because it's like, at that time you learn, like how you taught me, it's about what brings in the money. I'm a promotions coordinator. I'm not bringing in money. The station was losing money because of me, not for anything I'm doing. It's just I don't bring it in.
You're an expense at that point.
Yeah. So tagging a business that gives them money, that you wear a shirt of the station that they give you money for, I learned a valuable lesson of like, there's this pizza joint. Here's you. Your car. Right. So I'm like, got it.
Josh, you got to meet a lot of, we have local bands. Who's the best or coolest, not best, but like coolest celebrity you've ever met because of all of your, probably Anakin. I don't know, well, top celebrity, but he's not the coolest. Is there somebody cooler than Anakin that you met you can think of?
The situation would have been, if the situation was better with Anakin, I would have said that would be it, but just because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, I do have Star Wars tattoos, which is why that panel went up to me.
Yeah.
I briefly met Chris Rock. This was when I was working at a movie theater on Lakeshore Drive, the Magnificent Mile. It was AMC something 16. I was a projectionist at the time. And that theater was small enough that it would have private screenings.
Yeah.
And I forgot what movie it was, and he must have been in it. Maybe it was State of Union or something like that.
Oh, where he was like
when he played the president. Yeah. So like, no, wait, it wasn't that. Anyway, maybe it was just him watching the screening, and he was invited into. But like, I'm waiting for everyone to come out. He comes out and he sees my name. He's like, Josh, right? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, yeah, Chris Rock, right? He's like, yeah. You gonna watch this movie? I'm like, yeah, I might. He's like, that's all right, and walked away. And I count that as me and Chris Rock. I talked movies with Chris Rock. So
did he ask if you were cool?
No, he did not. But I would have known the answer.
You would have said, "What are we talking about here?" And he's like,
"This is why they call me Rock."
That's right. And you didn't slap him either, correct?
No, did not slap him.
Okay,
no slap. But I mean, wow, yeah. No, okay. Maybe that would be the question to go back in time for. Go back to Chris Rock's time when I met him, and he's like, "This movie's all right, big. Hey, in like 20 years, you're gonna host the Oscars. Don't say anything about Will Smith's wife."
Yeah.
There.
That's probably a safe bet. He was like, "Well, why?" Now he's gonna double down on it, though. Actually, or
maybe
here's a better one.
Okay,
Chris Rock. I'm gonna advise you to bring The Rock out for a segment with you. Then do your best material about Will Smith and his family. Chris Rock and The Rock next to each other. Let's see what happens then.
See, and that's how Rifters is going to come get you and not me.
That's right.
You got too far.
I love it.
You went too far.
I went too far. The time cops will get you. Check out Rifters if you want an awesome time traveler story, but hilarious R-rated comedy. People who like, the raunchy humor. That's what this is. Only 6 issues, so you can get the trade if you want, or the issues. Check your local comic store. Josh, at this point, anything you want to plug out there? Anything you got going on that you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing a shirt for a reason here. One day soon, not soon. I don't know when season 2's coming out.
Soon.
But it will be out, and it's gonna be amazing. I will look a lot younger because it's been 7 years since it's been produced and ready to be edited. Yeah. But JP, you're in it too. You look great. You look better now than you did there. So I'm going to plug that. HitsTheSeries.com. It is a web series about hitmen. Think Seinfeld, but hitmen. Think Quentin Tarantino, and Kevin Smith write a hitman thing. Episodes are 10 minutes long, very raw, so be prepared for that. It was self-financed. Things were filmed in 3 weekends, so we didn't do it right. But, like people describe houses that the bones are there. JP, you know this. I don't talk well about myself, but it's got it where it counts. And it gets better as it goes on. The production does.
So my honest take on it, the writing was great, but you got to remember producing something, the whole thing. It's a lot. You and Johnny did a lot, and it's like, how do you take your vision and make it happen? Because I know if it was me, everything would frustrate the shit out of me, right? Because I wrote it on paper like this. Why isn't it on screen like this? I'm here. I'm overseeing everything. It should be, but it's hard to connect the two visions. So I think you did a good job with that. And it did get better as time went on. So hopefully when season 2 is out there, hitstheseries.com on all the social medias, hits the series. You get Josh is in there, the writer and star. I'm in some episodes as well. There's a bunch of our friends are in this. And yeah, so definitely.
You're on my nipple.
Oh, nice. You're stand up a little bit. So we got.
I don't want to because like I look thinner, but I'll do this.
On? You got pants on?
I do have pants on. I do have pants on.
So yeah, so I'm over there yelling, and then there's Johnny and Jules and Josh and Billy right there.
Jules, the only real actor. So
yeah, who by the way, Jules has been in a bunch of things, and it's like
yes,
you guys are.
I'm like, why were you in with us? Why did you do our stuff?
The longer you wait, the more she's gonna money she's gonna ask for later on.
I know.
She's gonna be like,
I know.
Oh, you're gonna release it now? Well, I need to get 20 grand up front now. But you're already in it. My price changed.
Some of the names that we've mentioned, Katie's in it, and
Katie's in it as well. Yeah,
I feel so bad.
You gave her a bloody nose in the movie, right? In the show.
And a black eye, bloody nose. Yeah. All that stuff.
Your dad's in it.
My dad is in it. He's probably my second favorite character. You're actually my favorite character.
Thank you.
I'm not sucking up because of the show. I just love. You did it how I written. So that's why I like it.
I think I could have done better, but I appreciate that. I'm waiting for season 3. Season 2, I'm ready to act in season 3.
Okay, well, we'll put you down. Season 2 needs to bring in money. And season 2 is great, just needs to come out. So we got to yell at Johnny about it. So hopefully he becomes number 9 that watches this.
Yes.
And we put some pressure on him,
I love it.
Do you have a Comics FM mob yet? We got to get one going.
Well, I mean, how many does it necessitate to get a mob? I've got 7 locked in, and I've got about 3 more that are like, maybe, I don't know, if I have time, I'll watch it. So I'm at about 10 fans right now.
Okay. I think double that would be a mob. So
yeah.
Mad.
So, well, I think we'll get there. Hitstheseries.com. Check it out. And of course, we are part of the prank on the Fox.
Yes.
Was Kevin Walters. Look that one up. Look up Kevin Walters, 1039 The Fox. This is Plains Oasis. It is one of the greatest pranks that went viral worldwide in one day at a time when things weren't going viral. Like that wasn't a thing back in 2013 or 14, whatever it was. That was so that was a great prank we had there. So anyway, Josh, thanks for coming on. As always, awesome talking to you. Longest episode of Comics.fm.
Appreciate it, JP. Thank you so much for having me instead of a clip show. I know you already regret it.
I wanted a clip show.
I already love the show. I'm not just blowing smoke of it. I like you. There's a glow in you. You're talking about what you love, and that's all that really matters. So I really appreciate it. And I am one of the 7, and you deserve 3 more than that. So
thank you so much. Well, you know what?
Of course, sir.
Want to buy a shirt? Anybody? You can do
I
that.
will.
Find us at comics.fm, the website, and all the social medias. I'm doing a bunch of other videos, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that. Check it out. We'll talk to you next time.